Hey up, I'm Guy Kestivan the Tester Man, and I hate loving this tyre as much as I do. So what's behind that ridiculous statement on the Maxxis Forekaster, and why don't those reservations stop it being the best fast trail tyre I think you can buy for mixed conditions riding all year round right now? Click the subscription button down in the bottom corner, think about throwing me a few quid on Patreon, and then we'll get into the details. Because mercifully, there aren't actually many on this tyre. It's not like, Schwalbe Nobby Nick, where I've got to go through 40 different iterations to try and find the one that will work for you. There's only 2 tyre compounds, and 2 sizings, and 2 casing options, which gives you 5 tyres. And again, while that sounds like a bad thing, I actually think it's a really good thing. But obviously the internet runs on hate these days, so why don't I like the Forekaster? So here we are, the Maxxis Forekaster. Look at that tread pattern. Seem familiar? Yeah, because it's basically a WTB Trail Boss, a tyre that for many, many years was kind of just deeply average. But when you put it on a Maxxis carcass with Maxxis rubber compounds, it's suddenly brilliant. However, in a time when sort of downcountry became a thing and everybody was rushing out with the downcountry tyre, in my head, I wanted everything to be about 800 grams. That sounds like slightly, just a bit heavier enough than XC to add a bit of toughness, but not so heavy it weighs your bike down. So I was disappointed when the weights came in on the Forekaster, and depending on the version, standard EXO in a 2.4 is 914 grams. In an EXO Plus, it's 940 grams. And if you go for the 2.6, it's, I think, 1017 grams. So it's over the kilo. It's over that kilo break point, dear cross-country whippety friends. That doesn't sound good, does it? Plus the real kicker, if you get calipers on Forecasters, not only are they nearly always undersized, but the sizing can vary massively. And I'm not just talking about on different rims or even different versions. I was chatting to a guy in the comments the other week because I mentioned how much I hated but loved this tyre in the Hunt wheel review playing over there. And he was like, yeah, I've had like 2 pairs of 2 tyres and they varied from like 2.3 something to 2.2 something. And basically most of them blow up nearer to 2.25, even on a 30mm internal rim. So any claim that this is a 2.4, absolute codswallop. And so, yeah, I mean, that's kind of the 2 major... Oh, no, there's a 3rd major thing. I loved the old Forekaster, which was light. It was quite skinny, but as a kind of wet weather cross-country speed tyre, absolutely brilliant. So I'd loved if they'd have carried on with that Forekaster, found a new name for this as a wholly new tyre, and we hadn't had to suffer the Maxxis Severe, which really don't give. I even reviewed that. I'll check if I've reviewed that, because if I haven't, there's some hate coming that way, particularly relating to the max speed compound. And why on earth would you ever put that on what's meant to be a specific wet weather tyre? It's a pretty crap compound anyway for all-round use, but on a wet weather tyre makes no sense whatsoever. Anyway, back to this tyre. Despite the fact it's too heavy, it's a tread design that's basically been stolen off somebody else, and it's not the size it's supposed to be. The levels of control that you get from this tyre in a very wide variety of conditions are absolutely astonishing. The harder you ride it, the more it goes, ha, still got you. You think you needed an NASA guy? I'm quite happy going full bore into some seriously sketchy situations, whether that's rock, whether it's wet, whether it's just mixed mush, and I will hang in there. I will hang in there like you wouldn't believe. And then when we get to the fast clear bits, I will still roll pretty damn quick. This is the kind of tyre you put on and it perks your bike up straight away, even though it's heavy. It's still a very lively, responsive tyre, which is irritating as hell because it doesn't match the stats. And, And that's an issue. And, you know, they have, I mean, obviously Maxxis have changed the compound, changed it slightly to their own design. It's siped. You've got these, I mean, relatively small side buttresses. But compared to that Wicked Will I was talking about last week, they're just a little bit taller, a little bit sharper, and the grip is totally different. This is such a more trustworthy tyre without, in my own personal feel, it actually running much slower than that Wicked Will. And it's not far off a lot of, you know, dedicated cross-country tyres. And certainly compared to something like a Recon, I think the amount of grip you get from this without losing much rolling speed is remarkable. You know, save your Recon for the back and put this on front and you've got a very, very good, that's kind of, maybe even a Recon race is kind of the go-to sort of downcountry speed combination from Maxxis, I'd say. And then if you want more of a trail vibe, stick something like a DHF on the front, or you can put a Dissector on the front. But again, I don't think the Dissector really offers much more in grip, but it's noticeably slower. And also the thing with this, whereas the Dissector and other tyres from Maxxis tend to have a bit of a leap of faith onto the side knobs, the way they're arranged, it's just a really, really predictable tyre at all angles. It does eventually slide away, but even the slide's predictable. And there's no big gap of sort of terror as you kind of jumped across to the side knobs. It's just a brilliant all-round tyre. And despite the fact it's undersized, it's really, really well damped as well. So it makes your fork feel good. It makes your hands feel good. It doesn't ping and spatter all over the place on high impact situations or just a lot of ragged edges. It is just a remarkably composed and controlled tyre that still rolls fast. And yeah, that's pretty much it, really. And even the fact there aren't many variants, I think, is a positive. Like I say, it's 2.4 or 2.6. So if you want a 225, you get a 2.4. If you want 2.4, you get a 2.6. And then if you don't want to burst it because you're blatting into stuff heavy or running it on an e-bike, then there's an XO Plus carcass. Although, ironically, that is the only version I've actually split out of a whole bunch of different tyres I've used. And what's good is even in the super cheap versions, which you can't even buy, like the OEM stuff, the Wirebead stuff I've used on the Voodoos and the Caliber bikes I tested at the end of last year, still a really, really good tyre, because the compound, even that the dual compound on them, is still decent. And those dual compound tyres come in about 55 quid. And that's the ones you can buy with the folding bead and the XO carcass and stuff. So yeah, reasonable price, unreasonable amount of grip, while still rolling fast and feeling great in terms of damping. There you go. Should not like it on the stats, but probably my go-to front tyre for fast and rear tyre for, well, fast control, should we say. I'm just making up categories now. It's dead good. That's the bottom line. So, thanks for watching. Thanks for bearing with me on a week where I've really struggled to get in front of the camera for some reason. Just been chatting to Doddy about it. And he's kind of going free balling now as well. And we're saying it's a bit weird working for yourself primarily, not for somebody else. Happily kill ourselves for somebody else, but the whole doing it for yourself, oh, psychologists would have a field day. So, click the buttons, tell your mates about the channel. Make sure you tune in for the next one, because we've got a whole bunch of tyres coming up, more in this range. I've got Nobby, like I say, Nobby Nick is probably up next. And then we've got some more stuff from Conti. And I'll check if I've done that Severe review. Oh, and Recon Max Speed. Lots of tyres, lots of other kit, TRP, Lezyne, a whole box of stuff I should have. And that's the thing. I just need to get in front of the camera and start chatting. But for now, that's enough chat. Thanks for watching. I've been Guy Castivan, Guycast TV, Forekaster. It's mid. Thank you. Bye.